Net carbs. What are they? Why do they matter? This is not a subject I would typically speak on, just because my whole program and coaching focuses on whole single ingredient foods, which for certain individuals, we would still want to monitor that. But it's not for the mass population. It's not for the general public. It has been a marketing tactic for decades now, actually. Crazy to think that it's 2026. But I had another person reach out and ask me about net carbs just last week. And without going too far into it, I just want to share what they are, what it means, should you worry about them, should you not, and what to do when you hear that term. Okay, so I'm going to show you Twiglet. The one thing that we have in our cabinet is popcorners. Okay, look at the nutrition label. Can you see it? Total carbs, dietary fiber, total sugars. Okay, so that wasn't the greatest one because it says no dietary fiber. Twig, we have 2 new kittens that have showed up in our backyard, so Twig likes to growl at them all the time because he thinks it's his yard. Okay, that was a bad example. I don't really have anything with labels right now, but what are net carbs? Let me try and get you set up here. Okay, what are net carbs? This is a horrible angle, but it is what it is. So net carbs is the total carbohydrates minus fiber, sugar, alcohols, basically anything that they say your body doesn't absorb. Okay, and I say they say because it is a marketing tactic. It is not legally recognized. It is not, the FDA doesn't recognize it. Nothing like that. Like it's, okay, anyways. When it comes to whole foods, that's where it can make sense, right? If you are type 1, type 2 diabetes, a lot of the complex carbohydrates have a lot of fiber. And insoluble fiber typically doesn't get absorbed, so it has a near zero impact on your glucose and insulin levels. Where soluble fiber, it still can impact. So I always come back to my ebook, my first ebook. I kind of explain macronutrients, okay? Carbohydrates give us about 4 calories of energy per gram. So when you have a complex carbohydrate, instead of it giving, with a lot of soluble fiber, instead of it giving us 4 calories, it's about maybe half, 2.5, okay? So it's not quite as much of that spike that you would get from like a simple carbohydrate. So there is a reason behind net carbs. Most specifically with diabetics, if they are required to take insulin before their meal, they are able to look at what is actually going to affect them. Now, I need to, again, reiterate that this is with whole foods. It's so important that you're eating whole foods. Now, when it comes to highly processed foods, meaning keto breads or protein bars or those low carb Mission tortilla shells. Those got me. And that's when I really took a look at net carbs and what it actually meant. Probably 5-6 years ago. They use the marketing tactic to get you to eat more and to not realize how much you're eating. So they also tell you to, you can subtract the sugar alcohol, right? However, so erythritol, I don't get a good reaction from erythritol. That is a near zero. It doesn't really affect your blood glucose, your insulin levels. However, not all sugar alcohols are made the same. And there are so many sugar alcohols in the things we eat these days that it is not okay to do that. So like maltitol, that is a sugar alcohol that I believe up to 75% of what you intake is still making an impact on your blood glucose and your insulin levels. So although you think, oh, this only has 2 grams net carbs, and it's all has 10 grams of maltitol, your blood sugar is going to spike like it had 10 grams of sugar. Well, it's about 75%. So still 7-8 grams instead of the 2 that you expected. And that's a low comparison right there. But if you're doing that constantly, it's not healthy for your body, okay? So there is a reason behind it, okay? It's the way that your it's the way that your body responds to carbohydrates. So the insulin, the blood sugar, your glucose levels, and so net carbs, they have a reason, okay? But do not get sucked into the trap of the processed food. Any processed food, especially the processed food that says it's healthy. More than likely, it's not. Like I said, I think of keto bread. I have multiple sisters, or even those Mission tortilla shells. I know many, many, many people that's all that they eat. Not all that they eat. Let me rephrase that. But that's the only carb that they have. They're like, well, I can't eat bread, and I can't eat this, and I can't do that, but I could have those, low carb shells. It is a marketing tactic. Your body still responds in the way that it should, but it's a scam, and it's a lie to you. And even though they're selling you that, oh yes, this only has this many net carbs, it depends where those carbs come from. And insoluble fiber is just like the only thing that's well known, I would say, to not impact all of your bodily functions, basically. Soluble fiber still does. Even though it's fiber, your body still has something to do with it. Just because you don't absorb certain things doesn't mean that there isn't other things going on that your body's doing with it. You can't just take in something and expect nothing to happen. Like even water, there's no calories, but your body's doing something with it. There's an important process taking effect. I took some notes here. Yeah, the biggest thing that just a lot of keto friendly, things are talk about net carbs. Let me see what else. Yeah. Yeah, that was basically it. I apologize. I'm just going through my notes. The main takeaway is just eat high quality food. Eat whole, single ingredient food. If you do have type 1 or type 2 diabetes, your body, how your body reacts to specific foods, and I think it's important to stick with those whole foods, and net carbs make sense then, because all you're really worrying about is the actual dietary fiber that's in them, and most whole foods have fiber, which is good for you. You need fiber. It's when you introduce the sugar alcohols, all these preservatives and additives and the synthetic, just the fake fiber that they introduce to get those net carbs down just to market to you. Those are not good for you. They're cheap most of the time, cheap sugar alcohols, cheap synthetic fiber that really wreaks havoc on your system. So there is a time and place for net carbs. And maybe you're not sure if you're one, especially maybe you are, trying a ketogenic like diet. I'm not bashing that. I think there are some benefits to being in a keto, like in a state of ketosis. But you still have to do it the proper way for your body to respond the way that it biologically functions throughout all of your systems, So if you have any questions, please comment, please send me a message. I am not trying to neg anyone that counts carbs or net carbs. It's just not something that I typically am going to talk about. But that was another question I had, again, about net carbs last week. And so I figured I'd better put this out here into the ether with all y'all that, I guess, what they are, what it means, and if there's validity to it. And hopefully that helped. Hopefully that gives you some insight, and you're able to discern what is best for you. If you need help with guidance, I look to the Lord a lot. So asking him, asking me, because I'm going to go back to him and ask him. So I hope you all have a blessed day. Again, if you have questions about anything, nutrition, exercise, health, wellness, cognitive behavioral therapy is kind of my forte as well. So if you have questions about any of it, please, don't hesitate to reach out.